Imagine waking up on Christmas morning to find something that would shatter your world forever. Picture the twinkling lights, the scent of pine, the promise of joy, all transformed in an instant into a crime scene that would haunt a nation for decades. Before this video ends, I'm going to tell you about a Christmas mystery so disturbing, so impossible to comprehend, that it remains unsolved nearly 30 years later. A case where innocence itself became the victim. Welcome to True Crime Explorers, where we uncover the stories that history tried to bury. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our deep dives into history's darkest secrets. Christmas is supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, but sometimes behind the carefully wrapped presents and forced smiles, something sinister lurks. Today, we're counting down 10 Christmas crimes that transformed the season of joy into something far darker. From family tragedies to unsolved mysteries, these cases reveal that the holiday season, with all its pressure and expectation, can become a backdrop for unimaginable tragedy. Case 10. Dennis Nilsen's Festive Horror. Dennis Nilsen was a civil servant in London who preyed on vulnerable young men during the Christmas season between 1978 and 1983. He specifically targeted those who were alone during the holidays, homeless men and transients with nowhere to go. Nilsen would offer them shelter and warmth, exploiting their desperate need for human connection, then take their lives. He killed at least 12 people before his crimes came to light in 1983 when human remains blocked the drains at his apartment. Many victims were never identified, forgotten souls whose absence went unnoticed during a season when everyone should have someone who misses them. Nilsen's case exposed how the holiday season amplifies loneliness to deadly effect, creating vulnerabilities that predators exploit when others are celebrating with family. Case 9. The Boxing Day Murders. On December 26, 1996, in Edmonton, Canada, multiple family members lost their lives in a domestic incident that escalated catastrophically during the holiday gathering. The family had been torn apart by tensions that finally erupted during the enforced closeness of the season. Neighbors later reported hearing arguments throughout the holiday period, but dismissed it as typical family stress. This tragedy exposed how holiday pressure amplifies existing tensions with devastating consequences. Christmas forces families together in close quarters, and when resentments simmer beneath forced smiles, violence can erupt. The case led to increased awareness about domestic violence during holidays, with crisis hotlines now staffing up specifically for this period, recognizing it as the most dangerous time of year for many families. Case 8. Paul Bowman, the Christmas Day Killer. On Christmas Day 2007, Paul Bowman murdered his wife in their Cornwall home, then attempted to disguise it as a holiday accident. When police grew suspicious of inconsistencies and evidence that contradicted his story, Bowman fled, triggering a manhunt across England. Bowman tried to weaponize Christmas itself as cover, betting investigators would accept a tragic accident narrative on the holiday. The trial revealed deliberate planning and his calculated attempt to use Christmas Day chaos to his advantage. He received a life sentence, leaving his children traumatized and both parents lost to them on what should have been a day of celebration. The case illustrates how perpetrators see the holiday as opportunity, a time when guards are down and trust runs high. Case 7. The Covina Massacre. Christmas Eve, 2008 in Covina, California. Bruce Pardo, recently divorced and consumed with rage, dressed as Santa Claus and arrived at his ex-wife's family Christmas party carrying what appeared to be a wrapped present. When an 8-year-old girl answered the door, excited to see Santa, Pardo opened fire. He shot indiscriminately at party guests, then used a homemade flamethrower to set the house ablaze. 9 people died, including children and elderly grandparents ranging in age from 8 to 80. After the attack, Pardo took his own life at his brother's house. The Covina Massacre shocked America because Santa Claus, the universal symbol of childhood joy, had been transformed into an instrument of terror. The case sparked debates about how the holiday season can magnify desperation in those already in crisis. Pardo had planned this for weeks. The holidays provided him a stage for maximum impact when his ex-wife's family would all be gathered in one vulnerable place. Case 6. The Grinch Burglars. In 2013, a crime ring operating across multiple states earned their nickname by specifically targeting wrapped presents under Christmas trees. They broke into homes while families were out, identifying targets by visible Christmas trees through windows. But they weren't just stealing valuables, they were stealing Christmas itself. One single mother in California saved for months to buy gifts for her 3 children, only to find every present gone 2 days before Christmas. Children blamed themselves for being bad. Parents felt violated and helpless. The ring was caught when one member tried returning stolen items for gift cards, but the emotional damage lingered. Some families moved, unable to feel secure. The Grinch burglars proved the cruelest crimes aren't always the most violent. Sometimes they're the ones that steal joy itself. Don't miss out. Explore our hand-picked true crime recommendations. Links in the description. Case 5. The Azaria Chamberlain Case. While baby Azaria Chamberlain disappeared in August 1980, her case became linked to Christmas through years of legal battles unfolding during the holiday season. Lindy Chamberlain claimed a dingo took her 9-week-old daughter from their tent at Uluru, but she was convicted based on flawed forensic evidence and imprisoned. She spent Christmas 1982 through 1985 separated from her surviving children, labeled a monster. Then in 1986, Azaria's jacket was found near a dingo lair, exactly as Lindy described. She was released, but full exoneration didn't come until 2012, 32 years later. The case exposed dangerous flaws in forensic science and trial by media. For 3 decades, every Christmas marked this injustice, showing how the justice system can fail when investigators see only what they expect rather than following evidence objectively. Case 4. The Murder of Gina Hall. 18-year-old Gina Hall vanished on June 28, 1980, after a party in Virginia. Though not a Christmas disappearance, every holiday season brought her family cruel hope. Tips would emerge, leads would surface, only to go nowhere. The cycle repeated: hope, investigation, disappointment. The Hall family couldn't fully grieve without closure, but couldn't move forward either. Gina's mother set a place for her at Christmas dinner every year until her own death, a ritual of hope that became increasingly heartbreaking. The case remains unsolved, reminding us that for families of the missing, every holiday is haunted. Christmas magnifies absence. When everyone else is gathered and accounted for, the missing are missing more acutely than ever. Case 3. Sharon Carr, Britain's youngest female killer. Christmas Eve, 1992. 13-year-old Sharon Carr attacked and killed 18-year-old Katie Ratcliffe in a random act of violence in Surrey. Katie was simply walking home when Carr unleashed a frenzied attack. The case went unsolved until years later, when Carr was arrested for another assault and her diary was discovered, containing detailed descriptions of Katie's murder. Carr became Britain's youngest convicted female killer. She showed no remorse, displaying chilling detachment, and was sentenced to indefinite detention. The case raised disturbing questions about what drives a child to such violence and whether rehabilitation is possible. For Katie's family, Christmas Eve is forever marked by loss. The case also highlighted gaps in mental health identification, warning signs missed before Carr's violence escalated to murder. Case 2. The Lawson Family Massacre. Christmas Day, 1929, in Germantown, North Carolina. Charles Lawson took his family into town for a rare portrait, dressing everyone in new clothes. Hours later, he systematically killed his wife Fanny and 6 of his 7 children before taking his own life. Only his eldest son Arthur, sent on an errand, survived. Charles shot Fanny and daughter Marie on the porch, then hunted down his other children. He killed 4-month-old Mary Lou by crushing her skull, then arranged the bodies carefully in the barn before shooting himself in the woods. The motive remains a mystery nearly a century later. The family portrait taken that morning is deeply haunting. Everyone dressed in Christmas best, unaware they had hours to live. It represents the darkest perversion of Christmas. A day meant for family became the day a family was annihilated. Case 1. The JonBenet Ramsey Case. Christmas night, 1996. 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey was in her Boulder, Colorado home after celebrating the holiday. The Ramseys had attended a party, returning around 10 with JonBenet already asleep. By the next morning, she was gone. Mother Patsy discovered a bizarre ransom note demanding exactly $118,000, matching John Ramsey's recent bonus. The note was unusually long, written on paper from inside the house. Hours later, John discovered her body in a basement room. The case became a perfect storm of public fascination and investigative missteps. The crime scene was compromised. No clear signs of forced entry existed. Suspicion fell on the family, particularly John and Patsy, though they maintained innocence through decades of scrutiny. Media coverage was relentless. JonBenet's participation in child beauty pageants became a focal point of public judgment. Theories multiplied. An intruder, a family member, someone they knew. In 2008, new DNA testing seemed to exonerate the Ramsey family, with the district attorney publicly apologizing, but questions remain. The case has inspired countless books and documentaries. For the Ramsey family, every Christmas is marked by loss. John Ramsey continues advocating for advanced DNA testing that might finally identify JonBenet's killer, but nearly 30 years later, no one has been charged. This is the mystery I promised, a case so perplexing that nearly 30 years later, we still don't know who took JonBenet Ramsey's life on Christmas night. A little girl who should have been playing with new toys became the center of one of America's most enduring mysteries. These 10 cases reveal something uncomfortable. Christmas doesn't pause violence, sometimes it amplifies it. Which case shocked you most? Let me know in the comments.